Like, what is at stake in this race? And what are we doing? And why is it that these billionaires and these online trolls and these people sitting in their basements in Texas have taken such an interest in what is happening in our corner of San Francisco here in District 5? It's worth thinking about that, right? Like, why is that? And what seems to piss a lot of people off is the idea, and I don't mean people in this room, and I don't mean voters, but what seems to piss a lot of these very big money tech oligarch types and real estate mega landlords, mega developers, what is it's really pissing them off at its core? And it is the idea that poor and working class people exist in this city. Right? So when you get announcements of curfews, when you get homeless sweeps, when you get the latest proposals to slash corporate taxes, the budget attacks on all the things Paul was talking about, and all the things that so many people in this room advocate for, those are all attacks on people who are poor or working class and who are trying to survive in this city. And the message that we, and I say we as anyone who is progressive, left, whatever you want to call it, have for these folks who think they have an exclusive right to this city because of their wealth, is that the working class people of San Francisco, so many, are still here and are not going anywhere, right? If we have our way. And that is fundamentally what this fight is about. And it is about whether this continues to be a city of refuge, a city where people who are not accepted in their countries, in their cities, can come here and thrive and survive and pay an affordable, rent and have a rent control place. And does that exist? Or are we going to end up with their vision? And they have a vision. And this is something that people, I think our media has failed to recognize, and a lot of times we don't talk about. People say, oh, well, these billionaires are trying to buy the city. And that's true, and I think at a gut level we know that's not good. But it's important to understand why they're trying to buy the city, what they are trying to accomplish. Like, they are trying to eliminate affordable housing in the city. They are trying to abolish rent control. They are fundamentally libertarian unless it's big corporate interests asking for government help. Everyone else is not supposed to be protected by any government help regulations. They want to eliminate taxes on the wealthy. They want to make sure that only market forces drive housing in San Francisco, and that there's no room for social housing, public housing, subsidized housing, or rent-controlled housing, co-ops, or land trusts, right? They just want another round of luxury housing for well-off people and real estate investors to invest in, right? They deeply resent the idea that we pushed forward as a community during the pandemic of government intervention to help people when they're in need, right? And how do we do it, and why does it piss them off so much? Because we taxed the hell out of them during the pandemic, right? And they're fine, they're doing fine. And I want to say, when we put together the idea of doing Proposition I in 2020, which was to double the transfer tax on properties that sold that are over $10 million. It's like, wow, why are you doubling it? Why don't you just, all the prior changes were like, raise it 0.25%, that'll raise like $30 million. We're like, no, we're just gonna double it. It's gonna raise hundreds of millions of dollars a year. And then you had people saying, well, they start running ad campaigns against it about the poor mom and pop small business. I'm like, find me a small business who is selling a $10 million property. I don't think Nick Parker and Yuri have like $10, $50 million properties they're selling every day, right? So, but the reality is, the reality is, so what did we do? We doubled their tax. It's raised over $300 million intended for social housing and rent. We were told nobody will vote for taxes during a pandemic. And we completely blew that idea up with Prop I, with Prop L, the tax on the excess CEO pay. We have multiple taxes on the ballot, Prop J that the teachers had, they all passed. Interesting, right? All the political pundit types, you can't do a tax in a pandemic, no one will vote for it. And the voters in San Francisco are like, yeah, we can tax billionaires and multi-billionaires. That does not bother us, right? And so if you look at the rage with which these online trolls and billionaire PACs are, the rage they have, it's not because things aren't working in San Francisco like they like to say. There are definitely things broken in this town. I just asked Robin Levitt over here why we don't have housing on Parcel K, 2 blocks away, affordable housing site, and you will understand, sign his petition, you will understand what's broken in this town, a mayor who's blocking affordable housing in Hayes Valley. But fundamentally their complaint and their rage is not the stuff that's not working in San Francisco. There's plenty of those things. We're all in this room trying to work on those things. Their rage is a billionaire backlash against things that were working during a global pandemic and that we should be leaning into and continuing. So what am I talking about? We housed thousands of people who were homeless in hotel rooms during the pandemic, right? We acquired the Oasis Inn for homeless families during the pandemic. We taxed the rich and generated tens of millions of dollars, assisting over 20,000 San Franciscans during the pandemic, right? We banned evictions during the pandemic. We have the lowest rate of any city in California of evictions. We raised the most rent relief money of any city anywhere locally to prevent evictions and displacement during a pandemic. We provided free, unconditional health care regardless of your immigration status, regardless of your health insurance status, to people who had COVID. We did testing, we did vaccines, right? We were doing things that a healthy, functioning society would do because we had a federal government finally investing in our community, but also because we taxed the rich to fund all this stuff, and the voters said loud and clear, we're going to continue taxing the rich and continue doing it. So that's where the rage and the attacks on San Francisco come from. They come from the reality, which is that there is an appetite in this city, reflected in this room, to actually solve problems with things that work, instead of just giving another $50–100 million to the police department every time we have a problem in this city. There's an appetite to do that, to tax the rich to fund these programs. They know that, and that's why they're investing so much in defeating those of us who are championing, with all of you, real solutions here in San Francisco. So thank you so much for being part of this movement. Thank you for your support. I know others will tell you, but if you haven't yet, come knock doors with us. Come donate. And thank you, Alvin, for being an amazing MC. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you, Nick, Sarah, the whole team here. And thank you to this amazing band that played before we were all given the mic. Thanks so much.